Super Mario is one of the most family-friendly video game franchises out there. But what if it wasn't? Since the creation of the ESRB, or the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, there have only been a handful of Mario games that didn't receive the E for Everyone rating. And I'm not counting the earlier K to A rating as being not E for Everyone, since these two are basically the exact same thing. So I'll be taking a look at some of the Mario games that did not receive an E for Everyone rating, and determining whether or not the rating was justified or the ESRB was being a bunch of babies. I'll be using the reasoning given by the ESRB on their website, which I'll leave linked in the description. Super Mario Odyssey is the first mainline Mario platformer to not receive an E for Everyone rating. The game was given the dreaded E10+, which has got to be one of the most useless ratings of all time. I've never really seen an E10+ game that has something that goes too far for someone who can only play E-rated games. I mean, it makes sense to have it, but at the same time, it's just kind of useless. I don't know. The reason for the rating was due to the Mecha Wiggler boss fight, more specifically its use of the Sherm tank enemy. I can kind of see that, I guess, but at the same time, really? This goes too far? They also bring up the Bowser boss fights where you have to rapidly punch him over and over. Again, this isn't that bad. It's so overly cartoony, I just don't see why this pushes the age rating up. Not justified. The fourth entry in the Mario & Luigi series is the only one that has gotten an E10+ rating. The ESRB says it's mainly due to the giant battles that take place in the Dream World. Again, I don't think this is entirely justified. Bowser's Inside Story also has giant battles, but that game was just given an E. I would speculate that it's due to them using 3D models now, but that doesn't hold up either. The remake of Bowser's Inside Story also uses 3D models for the giant battles, and that game still had an E rating. If this gets an E10+, then so should these. Plus, the Dream Team battles aren't even real. They're in Luigi's dreams, they're just figments of his imagination. And I'm surprised Brothership wasn't slapped with one too. And I'm surprised Brothership wasn't slapped with an E10+ rating. That game has some moments that are kinda dark for a game that has the same exact rating as Race with Ryan. Yeah, these make sense. I know they aren't technically Mario games, but like, he's right there, so I'm gonna talk about them. I feel like every game's rating is completely fair to an extent. Melee is the only one that's kinda iffy, but it makes sense once you realize that the E10+ rating wasn't a thing until 2005. Brawl has a much darker and more realistic art style, so the T rating makes more sense here to me. But I still feel like E10+ would have been completely suitable. Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, Wii U, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate are all fitting of the E10+ rating. They're more cartoony than Brawl, but at the same time, they're still fighting games. Justified. I'm only talking about Donkey Kong Jungle Beat due to the simple fact that it was the very first game to be given an E10+ rating. This is what drew the line. Everything before was either for little kids or teenagers. Donkey Kong was a true trailblazer. We should all aspire to be more like Donkey Kong. The ESRB only really mentions punching attacks and stuff. One reason I do agree with their rating is this thing. The Cactus King or Ghastly King. I'm not really sure. I've never played this game before. This thing creeps me out. It's genuinely scary. Completely justified. Imagine if a 9-year-old saw this. If you've made it this far into the video, you must be at least kinda liking it. So hit the like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps me out a lot. Thanks. Now let's get back into the ESRB's questionable decisions. The Mario plus Rabbids Series 2 entries both received an E10+ rating. The main reason for both boils down to Mario with gun. There's this line in the description for the first game that I refuse to read. So yeah, I'd say it's justified. I'm surprised they didn't give this game an adults-only rating based on that alone. The Mario Strikers series goes for a more over-the-top action approach unlike the other Mario Sports series. So yeah, I definitely think E10 is justified here. But the first game in the series didn't get an E10+ despite it being released after Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Make it make sense, please. The final two entries in the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series were both given an E10+ rating. They were given this higher rating due to the boxing event in both games, so nothing too interesting here. Now let's take a brief look at a few games that were only given an E rating that I think should have at least gotten an E10+. Obviously, we'll start with the games I mentioned earlier that should have had one to keep up with the consistency. Bowser's Inside Story, Brothership, and Super Mario Strikers. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door features a noose in the middle of the main hub area, perfect for a 3-year-old. Not to use, to play. Super Paper Mario should have been an E10+ game as well. The story gets pretty dark for a Mario game. Mario and friends essentially go to the third word of the last sentence of the Mario plus Rabbids paragraph I didn't read. A-OK for a toddler. Luigi's Mansion, seriously, how did this get an E rating? Sure, that means it would have gotten a T rating, but personally I feel like that's more fitting than an E. And then the 3DS remake still only got an E rating. E10 Plus was right there. And before we get to the final game I'll be talking about for this video, let me know if there's any that I missed or what you thought of these games' ratings and whether or not they're justified. Lastly, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash deserves an adults-only rating. We cannot subject children to this. There's even more Mario games that didn't receive the E for Everyone rating. This sequel video will focus more on Mario adjacent titles slash spin-offs as opposed to Mario specific games. I'm pretty sure Mario himself isn't even in any of the games in the first segment actually. Speaking of which, I'll also be talking about games that should have gotten different age ratings. And I haven't played most of the games I'll be talking about in this video, so I'll just be going off of what I've heard. This is absolutely bizarre. It's pretty obvious to me that this game was made for little girls that aren't under the age of 10 apparently. This game was rated E10 Plus for fantasy violent. The ESRB specifically points out kicks, swords, a lasso, and explosives for Peach, as well as the villain shooting lasers or cannons. I don't really think that this is justified, especially because of the target demographic being even younger than a standard Mario game. So it just seems kinda weird to limit it to people over the age of 10. And I almost wonder if that had to do with this game's lower than expected sales, but at the same time this game released in 2024 when the Switch was like basically on its way out, so I don't know. Several entries in the WarioWare series were given an E10 Plus rating. Those games are WarioWare Smooth Moves, Gold, Get It Together, and Move It. The ratings are mainly due to cartoon violence and crude humor. Yeah, I think this makes sense. I mean, if we go back to Smash Bros for a second, Wario in these games was based off of his appearance in the WarioWare series, and one of his most iconic attacks is this. That's pretty crude. I feel like almost every single game in this entire franchise has a cartoon violence mention on their rating, so it's not really worth talking about in any detail other than this game has cartoon violence. Wario Master of Disguise, which is a pretty obscure game, was given an E10 Plus rating due to mild cartoon violence, shocking, and crude humor, also shocking. Not too much to say here. Like I said a second ago, I don't really think anybody remembers this game anyway. I feel like it's fair to talk about Nintendo Land since I mentioned Smash Bros last time. And look, that's basically Mario right there. This is one of the few games in this video that I've actually played, and it received an E10 Plus rating for, guess what? Cartoon violence and crude humor. Are you sick of hearing those words yet? You're probably sick of hearing my voice because I'm sick. I definitely think this game should have been rated higher though, because in the Pikmin minigame, there's brown blobs that resemble animal droppings. Unacceptable. Now, unless Yoshi's Fruit Cart is way more gruesome than I remember, this game probably shouldn't count for this video since I'm 99% sure that none of the reasons for the E10 Plus rating came from any of the Mario minigames, but oh well. Donkey Konga 2 has a way more interesting reasoning for its age rating than a lot of these others. That being language. No, unfortunately, Donkey Kong's not using modern marketing strategies and cursing, but making it kind of funny where it's like, oh, we almost said a bad word, guys, laugh and buy our stupid product. It's technically due to mild lyrics. The Donkey Konga games are rhythm games that use actual real-life songs. And since the music industry is pure evil, some of these songs use profanity. Horrifying. I just find it incredibly fascinating that a Mario franchise game got a T for teen rating due to language. That's pretty crazy in my opinion. The latest game in this entire franchise that isn't a re-release is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which received an E10 Plus rating due to the main form of combat being punching. I mean, I guess if that kind of pushed Odyssey over the edge, I don't see why it wouldn't here. It's not violent by any means, but I suppose it was enough to warrant the ever so slightly higher rating. I've also played a bit of this game but haven't finished it. I should probably go back to it, though. Let me clear up some confusion about every single Nintendo Classics trailer. Whenever Nintendo adds a new game to this service, it always starts off with a T for teen rating. Now that's not because the game itself is rated T for teen. It's because the entire app is rated T for teen, due to some of the games they had added. It kind of annoys me every single time when somebody's like, oh, why is Donkey Kong 94 rated T for teen? It's not. The Game Boy app is rated T for teen, not Donkey Kong 94. Although it probably should be because Donkey Kong's in it, and we all know Donkey Kong is known for his use of profanity. If you've made it this far in the video, that means you must be at least kind of liking it. I'd really appreciate it if you give it a like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot. I'm on the path to 10,000 subscribers somehow, and I'm actually closer than I thought I'd ever be. So yeah, help me get there, please, 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 please. Now I'll be discussing some games that should have been rated differently than what they actually were given. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. I'm not sure how I missed this one last time. I guess it was just because I was dumb, I don't know. This game has a darker plot compared to a lot of the other entries in this series. So at the very least an E10 plus rating is warranted, and it would have been within the time frame, so it should have gotten one. Now this is just my opinion, but I think if a game has microtransactions of any kind, then it should not be rated E for everyone. Meaning that Dr. Mario World and Mario Kart Tour should both be E10 plus minimum. I mean, they basically promote gambling with real life money to little kids. That's bad. Well, at least Mario Kart Tour does. Dr. Mario World would have to be posthumously re-rated because that game is gone. Can't play it anymore. Paper Mario Color Splash and the Origami King are definitely more lighthearted than the Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario, yet they both have some fairly dark moments, especially the Origami King. In Color Splash, Mario gets called a war criminal. I just have to bring that up every time I talk about this game because it's hilarious. Nintendo officially calls Mario a war criminal. What is he, Benjamin? In the Origami King, multiple characters get completely ripped to shreds by a pair of scissors. It's pretty gruesome. Not really. I was only being dramatic. The only reason they were allowed to get away with a lower rating for these games is because the characters are made of paper, not flesh. Now let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum here. Mario Teaches Typing 1 and 2 should have been rated EC, or Early Childhood, which is a now defunct rating made for games targeted at an extremely young audience or are educational. Not just any version of the first game though, only the enhanced CD-ROM version, because that released after the EC rating was established. So let me know if there's any games I missed and what you'd like to see me make a video on next. And yes, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash should still not be marketed towards kids. That game is so bad it should be considered child abuse forcing your kids to play that garbage. I have two. Imagine being Nintendo in 2016. Oh, I'm sorry, that's too scary. I should have put a sensitive content warning before that. Let's just start over. Imagine being Nintendo in 2016. Sounds miserable, am I right? Your main home console, the Wii U, is just doing its thing, which is failing, and your handheld console, the 3DS, is just kind of existing at this point. And your new console still isn't out yet. You need more money. What are you gonna do? The obvious answer is to release a mediocre 2D Mario game for smartphones. Super Mario Run was originally released on December 15th, 2016 for iOS and later on March 22nd for Android. Take that, Android. We iPhone users got Super Mario Run first. Visually, it's nearly identical to New Super Mario Bros. U. But what sets this one apart from every other new Super Mario Bros. Game? Outside of being playable on the Instagram Reels box. Mario runs automatically and you can play it while eating a burger or something, I don't know. Mario Run is different from most mobile games in that it doesn't force microtransactions. It just forces one mega transaction. For the one-time purchase of $10, you get access to everything Super Mario Run has to offer. $10 is kind of a lot of money for this game in my opinion. Now I'm not saying you wouldn't get your $10 worth, but that's just a little bit pricey for a mobile game. Let's get started with the main story mode of the game, World Tour. Oh no, a Mario mobile game with Tour? I'm having flashbacks already. Like I've said a few times, this is a fairly standard 2D Mario game, except obviously Mario runs on his own, but that's not the only automation they added. He'll also jump over small ledges and gaps and some enemies. That's dumb. I understand this game is on my phone and is meant for an even broader audience than your standard 2D Mario game. Those games are meant for everybody, while this game is meant for everybody. Yup, even him. Like, do you really think Abraham Lincoln doesn't have enough brain cells to know that you have to jump over a Goomba? That's probably a bad example. In order to make Mario jump, you have to tap the screen. You can make him jump higher by holding the screen longer. There aren't any power-ups in this game outside of the Super Mushroom and Star, which makes sense. I don't really think there's a way they could have implemented any others like the Fire Flower without it being awkward and annoying to use. It would have been kind of cool to see them come up with completely unique power-ups that aren't hindered by the limitations of a phone game, but it's whatever. I've only mentioned Mario at this point, but you can actually play as several other characters. You can play as Mario, Luigi, Toad, Toadette, Peach, Green Yoshi, Yellow Yoshi, Red Yoshi, Blue Yoshi, Purple Yoshi, and Daisy. I have them all except for Red Yoshi because his unlock requirements are stupid. Most of them are unlocked by getting a certain amount of a specific colored Toad and Toad rally, but Peach, Daisy, and Toad are unlocked in different ways. To unlock Peach, you just have to beat the main game. To unlock Toad, you have to link your My Nintendo account, and to unlock Daisy, you have to complete Area 30 in Remix 10. The levels are okay. None of them are really that memorable. They just feel like they were designed to be levels and nothing else, which is the case for literally every other mobile game, to be fair. It doesn't help that the level themes are literally just the exact same ones that are in every new Super Mario Bros. Game. So grass, desert, that kind of stuff. There are no underwater levels though, so yeah, Mario Run deserves to be in the top of S tier. There's a couple boss fights, but they're literally just Bowser and Boom Boom. The final boss is pretty neat though. You have to jump on bombs and launch them at Bowser, but sometimes it doesn't really work and I just kill the bombs. And when you defeat Bowser, you rescue Peach. But that begs the question, since you can play as Peach in this game, what happens if you defeat Bowser as her? Does she just rescue herself? Does nothing happen? You rescue a random Toad. Did we need to rescue him? We've got 3,900 of them. We could stand to lose a few. So that's the story mode of Super Mario Run. There's a few additional unlockable levels, but it's just more of the same and I don't really care. You and what I believe is a replay of another player go up against each other and try to get the higher score. If you win, you take some of their Toads. Ah yes, mass abduction. And they take some of yours if you lose. I don't think your opponent actually gains or loses anything. I guess that's so you don't wake up one morning and check in on your Super Mario Run Toads only to find that there's none left. Or overpopulation. What character you pick determines what colored Toads you're gonna steal. That's it. It's fine. And there's nothing more terrifying than waiting for the scores to be tallied up. This is pure anxiety. So you take 10 bits and pieces of levels from the main game and play them all in a row. That's Remix 10. It's probably what I've spent the most time doing in Super Mario Run, and is honestly the only reason to keep playing the game after you've beaten the main campaign. As far as I'm aware, it's completely endless, so you'll never be done playing it. Unless you get bored, but who gets bored playing Super Mario Run? You unlock Daisy after clearing the 30th area. I don't play as her. Every regular level has 3 rainbow coins, while special levels have more. You want to get as many as possible so you can fill up this meter and open this prize box thing. You just get things to place in your kingdom, and most of the time it's just a duplicate of something you already have. Speaking of your kingdom, this is the part of the game that feels the most like your average mobile game. All you do is place statues and grass and stuff like that. You get these decorations by either buying them with coins or unlocking them through like Remix 10 or something. Or you can use your platinum points on My Nintendo to buy stuff. That's really dumb. Oh, I could save up just a little bit more and get an actual physical reward. Oh, but I really want to buy a gold Bowser statue in Super Mario Run for 300 platinum points. If there were exclusive statues and stuff in My Nintendo, I'd kind of understand. But as far as I'm aware, you can get all of this stuff just in the game normally. The only thing you can't get in the game without My Nintendo is Toad. And he's free. There isn't much to this mode, it's literally just decorating your kingdom. You just place things where you want and you look at them. Like a cereal box. And that was Mario's first official mobile outing. Super Mario Run is fine, but I can't wait for the sequel, Super Mario Light Jog. If you compare it to every other 3D Mario, it doesn't even come close. It's worse than almost every single other one. Almost. But when you look at it for what it is, which is a mobile game, it's actually pretty good. It's really high quality and you can tell there's a lot of effort put into it, especially compared to most other mobile games. And it's definitely better than the later Mario phone games. But that's not really saying much when your only options are this, nothing, or the Detective Baby Rosalina game. Oh, Nintendo Land, such an underappreciated game. This was basically the Wii U's equivalent to Wii Sports. a minigame collection that showed off what the thing can do. There are 4 Mario adjacent minigames in this game: Mario Chase, Luigi's Ghost Mansion, Donkey Kong's Crash Course, and Yoshi's Fruit Cart. So yes, even though I am not including Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze or Yoshi's Woolly World, I will be talking about the Donkey Kong and Yoshi Nintendo Land minigames. And if that bothers you, well, I'm really sorry. Please forgive me. Please, I'm begging. I hate when you're mad at me. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Please, I'm genuinely so sorry. I'll never not include Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Yoshi's Woolly World in a Mario Wii U game video. Please, it'll never happen again. I'm sorry. Mario Chase is great. You can play with up to 5 players. One player is their me dressed as Mario, while the others are differently colored toads. The toads have to chase Mario and catch him before the time runs up. It's a pretty basic game of tag. Whoever's playing as Mario uses the gamepad while the others use the TV. My main issue with this minigame is the lack of arenas. There's 3 total, and while they do have different gimmicks, they all look nearly identical. The first one is pretty basic, the second one has a lot of mud, and the third one has some slides. I feel like the least they could have done is change the skybox to be sunset or night or something like that. It's still a pretty fun minigame though, and it is actually a good use of the Wii U gamepad. Allowing one player to see something that no other player can is a really interesting gimmick. And the next game kinda does that too. People always say Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is the first Luigi's Mansion game since the one on the GameCube, but real ones know that this game predates it by at least 6 months. This game is actually kind of similar to Mario Chase, except this time the gamepad user can fight back. Everybody run! Whoever's using the gamepad is a ghost and they have to get all of the other players. However, the Wii Remote users aren't helpless, surprisingly. They just have to shine their flashlight on the ghost until the ghost's health runs out. It's not that easy though, because the ghost is invisible and the flashlight can run out of battery. The Wii Remote users dress up as Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. It's really cool to see that they actually included Waluigi. I fully expected them to just use Toads or something, but no, Wario and Waluigi are kind of in a Luigi's Mansion game. The game does suffer from a similar problem as Mario Chase, where all of the levels just kind of feel the same, and the 5th and final one is pure garbage. Nintendo Land is this weird thing where it's a multiplayer minigame collection, but half of the minigames are primarily single player only. Yoshi's Fruit Cart is one of them. So what you have to do in this game is get fruit. Also, that's my grocery list. And to do this, you have to draw a line on the Wii U gamepad which the Yoshi will follow. Sounds easy enough. I mean, you just have to draw the line over the fruit, right? Well, the fruit is only displayed on the TV, so you have to look back and forth between the TV and the gamepad and try to match it up. And sometimes there's obstacles that are also only on the TV. It's okay, it's fun, but there's just not a whole lot to it. And I know this is gonna sound really mean, but it honestly just kind of feels like a mobile game. I'm sorry. I never thought I'd have to apologize more than once while talking about Nintendo Land. I honestly like this one, but I've just never been good at it. I'm not even sure I've ever even beaten the first level. And there's only 4, with 3 and 4 just being more difficult versions of 1 and 2. Your Mii is brutally deformed into whatever this thing is, and you have to tilt the Wii U gamepad in order to navigate this maze inspired by the original Donkey Kong and math. Not Donkey Kong Jr. math though, don't get it confused. In addition to tilting the Wii U gamepad, you sometimes have to press the triggers and blow into the microphone Y. You'll die if you fall from too high or run into a wall. Just like real life. They don't really use the second screen of the gamepad all that well though. It's just what's shown on the TV but zoomed in. But don't let that get out to the masses. I'm confident that anarchy will ensue if people find out that the gamepad implementation in Donkey Kong's Crash Course is lame. So, funny story, I had to buy this game twice. Why? I bought the first copy when I was in the middle of moving for some reason, so the Wii U was in a box and I had no way to test it. The move takes longer than I thought, and by the time I have the opportunity to actually test it, the warranty is expired. And just my luck, the game doesn't work. So now what do? Do I remove it from the video? Do I lie and say I've played it anyway? Or I've got 2 copies of this game. Sure, one doesn't work, but I've still got 2 copies of this game. Getting the second copy wasn't exactly smooth sailing either. Sure, all I had to do was go on eBay and embarrassingly type in Mario Tennis Ultra Smash Wii U into the search bar and buy another copy, but that's not where this tragedy ends. It came the day after it was supposed to arrive. I mean, I was already nervous that I wasn't going to be able to get this video out on time. Just what I need, a day delay. And then the day it did arrive, the mailman accidentally drove past the mailbox without putting it in there. So I was freaking out thinking it got lost or something, but then he turned around and put it in the mailbox. I'm still going to keep the unworking one because I think it's kind of funny to own 2 copies of a bad game. To make sure I don't get them mixed up, I labeled the broken one accordingly. Rant over. So Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. And let me preface this by saying I already don't like Mario Tennis that much. Mario Power Tennis, which is widely considered to be the best one from what I've seen, is just whatever to me. So I might be harsher than I need to be. I'll give the series some credit though. It introduced Waluigi. Maybe the fact that my original copy didn't work was a warning. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash is not good. I mean, it's not terrible, it's not the worst thing I've ever played in my life. I think Super Mario Bros. The Lost Level still holds that title. There's only 4 modes and all of them are lacking. There's actually 6 if you count the in-game shop and the unworking online. There's 4 modes. And since there's only 4 modes plus a shop, I might as well talk about all of them. This is the main gimmick mode of the game, as I would call it. It's just your standard tennis until the Toad decides to throw the Mario equivalent of that Baskin-Robbins Oreo chocolate milkshake with like 2,000 calories onto the court. I about had a stroke just thinking about that thing. How is this legal? Every few minutes, one side will get a Mega Mushroom, and whoever gets the mushroom obviously has an advantage. But then the other side will get a Mega Mushroom, and now it's even. Who cares? It's literally just Mario Tennis, but with Big Donkey Kong now. And the fact that this is the best that they could come up with for the main gimmick, the main selling point on the box, is kind of sad. Remember that ping pong rally minigame from Wii Play? Well, this is that, but more fleshed out. Barely. You and your teammate, opponent, have to keep this Mega Ball in a rally. It's almost like it's called Mega Ball Rally for a reason. The ball doesn't stay big though, it'll gradually shrink over time. Just like my brain while watching Instagram Reels. Back to tennis, unfortunately. The ball gets smaller and smaller each rally, in an attempt to make it more difficult. I got 100 on my first try. It's weird because when you cause the rally to end by hitting the ball where the other player can't hit it, your character plays their victory animation. This mode was so lazily thrown together that they didn't even bother to change the animations. Like, why would I be happy? I just messed the rally up. Shouldn't they both play their losing animations or something? Knockout Challenge is literally just an endurance test. How many rounds of Mega Battle can you suffer through? You can play with an amiibo in a way very similar to Super Smash Bros. You basically just train it to play just like you. So poorly. And Devastated doesn't even begin to describe how I felt when I learned I couldn't use my Minecraft Alex amiibo in this game. You can only use certain Super Mario amiibo. Any amiibo released after this game won't work. So even though Boo and Waluigi are playable in the game, their amiibo don't work because they were released about a year later. It's disappointing, I guess, but I wouldn't expect them to go back and update this bad tennis game. But if there's a reason to complain, I'll do it. I decided to go with the Yoshi amiibo because it was the only one brave enough to look at me. Knockout Challenge is just multiple rounds of Mega Battle in a row, but with a CPU who just so happens to be trapped in a $13 piece of plastic. Classic Tennis is just tennis, no Mega Mushroom involved. There's actually 2 sub-modes for Classic Tennis. This is called Depth, people. Standard Tennis and Simple Tennis. Standard Tennis has jump shots and chance shots. And Simple Tennis sure isn't lying. You can buy stuff here. I don't really care enough to give any more details. It's a shop for in-game garbage. I don't recommend Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, and I definitely don't recommend getting it twice. Like a concussion. Minecraft. What's there left to be said at this point? It's the best-selling game of all time and has been ported to nearly every video game console. Even my favorite, China. But it actually took a while for Minecraft to make it to a Nintendo console. Although I think that has something to do with the fact that the ones around at the start of Minecraft's popularity weren't exactly able to run it. So it kind of makes sense as to why they waited until the Wii U to make a Nintendo version of the game. But why they waited until the Wii U was starting to lay in its deathbed to release this, I have no idea. December 7th, 2015. Not only was the Wii U on its way out, but Minecraft wasn't really seen as the cool game anymore. I mean, it was still popular, yes, but if you were caught playing it, you were a loser. Along with the Wii U version came the Super Mario Mashup Pack for completely free. It included a Mario skin pack, texture pack, music from Mario 64, and this map full of Mario stuff. The skin pack includes tons of characters, even really obscure ones like Mario. The texture pack replaces all the Minecraft textures with more Mario-y ones. So this grass is now Mario grass. The Mario 64 music sure is Mario 64 music. I usually just turn it off. If I have to hear the Boo Carousel theme one more time, I'm going to go insane. And the map is really neat. The developers of this version built the entire thing. There's Peach's Castle, Bowser's Airship, that stone Bowser thing in the water from Super Mario World that actually leads to Bowser's Castle like in that game. Not to mention all of the statues and pixel art that's scattered all over the place. Since it's Minecraft, there isn't really much of an objective. In this map, you can go collect all of the music discs, but they're just the same old Minecraft music. It would have been really cool if they changed it to more Mario music. They obviously don't update the Wii U version anymore, but that doesn't mean they don't update the Mario Mashup Pack anymore. Minecraft on the Nintendo Switch has the Mario Mashup Pack, and it does still get updated. It's only the textures though, so no new skins or music unfortunately. And I'm really disappointed about no new music. The Boo Carousel is making me lose it. Like physical games. Being able to hold and actually own a product that I spent my money on is something that I do enjoy. However, the video game industry is shifting more and more to being strictly digital, and it's only a matter of time until physical games are no more. So until that dreadful day inevitably happens, I will only buy physical games. Digital hoarding is nowhere near as fun as real life hoarding. But what if digital hoarding is your only option? What if the only way to buy that game is digitally? There's no physical copies. Then you get my worst nightmare. And if you've taken one look at my channel, you know who. And if you've taken even one look at my channel, you'll know what franchise's digital games I'll be talking about in this video. That's right, Sonic, rival in the Olympics. Despite the fact that Nintendo is the only major console manufacturer that doesn't have a digital-only system, at least at the time of recording, they still do have a handful of digital exclusive Mario games. And these games can be downloaded from their various online stores like the Wii Shop channel or the Nintendo eShop, or at least could. Starting with, this game was originally released for the Wii U on December 31st, 2013, as part of the Year of Luigi celebration. Kinda weird that they released it on New Year's Eve, but okay. The only other Mario series game I can think of that released on a holiday is Luigi's Mansion 3, which released on Halloween in 2019. There's no better way to ring in the new year than Dr. Luigi. Everybody else is outside having fun watching fireworks, and I'm inside playing Luigi with a PhD, or I would be if I actually had this game. Like the name suggests, this is an entry in the Dr. Mario series, but you play as Luigi. Like I mentioned a few seconds ago, I never actually bought this game, but I have played other Dr. Mario games, and taking a look at the gameplay, that looks like Dr. Mario, but with Luigi. The only changes that I can really notice are that the viruses look worse, and there's some L-shaped pills. And the Virus Buster mode from Dr. Mario Online RX from the Wii returns, but instead of using the pointer controls on the Wii remote, you use the touchscreen on the gamepad. So it's basically just Dr. Mario but with Luigi. Ooh, shocker. There's other Dr. Mario games available as digital-only games, like the previously mentioned Online RX and Miracle Cure on the 3DS. That begs the question though, does the mobile game count? And if it does, the other Mario mobile games count. You can only get them digitally, because a physical mobile game would be terrifying. Fine, I'll talk about Mario Kart Tour again. I'll make this quick, mostly because I want to make a full video on the mobile games in the future. The very first Mario mobile game was Super Mario Run, originally released for iOS in 2016 and Android in 2017. It's alright, I guess. Unlike the other Mario mobile games, and most mobile games in general, this one doesn't have any microtransaction. There's just a one-time purchase and then you get access to all the levels. The one-time purchase is $10? Feels a little bit steep, but I'd rather pay $10 one time than pay however much it is for rubies and Mario Kart Tour about 100 different times, and even then I'm not guaranteed to get everything that I want. Next up is Dr. Mario World, released in 2019. I actually kind of like this one. Of course, it's the one they killed just 2 years later. I mean, yeah, sure, it had the typical mobile game garbage of microtransactions, but I just thought the gameplay was kind of fun. The puzzle game format of Dr. Mario works really, really well as a mobile game, until they killed it. And then there's Mario Kart Tour. I don't like this one. Photos with Mario. Does this even deserve to be part of the conversation? Well, if the next two things in this video are part of the conversation, then I guess this should be part of it too. Photos with Mario isn't really a game. It's, as the name suggests, a photo picture taking thing. And unlike everything else in this video, I have this one downloaded because it was completely free. But what's the catch? Nothing in life is free. Well, you have to have these special AR cards. They were released alongside special Nintendo eShop cards. So if you bought an eShop card, you'd also get an AR card. That's kind of random. You didn't even have to pay any extra. They were just feeling really, really generous, I guess. Although it may seem like you actually need the cards, you don't. The 3DS can't determine the difference between the actual card and a picture of the card. You can just Google the pictures of the cards on your phone, and the 3DS will think it's the actual card. Take that, Nintendo. Or you could even print the cards out if you wanted to. I mean, I'm not going to, but you could if you wanted to. So what do you do with these cards? A 3D model of whatever character is on the card will show up on screen, and you can move them around and place them on whatever you want. There's a few effects you can put on your picture before you take it too, like confetti. The game is a neat novelty, I guess. I'm just glad it was free because there's no way I'd spend any money on this. Now these next things definitely should have been free too. But spoiler alert, they weren't. More things that aren't games. These two applications were released on the DSi shop and were later re-released on the Nintendo 3DS eShop. Mario Clock and Mario Calculator. You'll never guess what these were. They were a clock and a calculator. No way. And like I said earlier, they weren't free. You had to pay for them. They cost $1.99 each. $1.99 for a clock and $1.99 for a calculator. That's ridiculous. Oh, but it's Super Mario Bros. Themed now. Wow. The calculator is your standard calculator, but it's so retro now. It's just so retro that I've got to get it. Let me hop on the 3DS eShop. Oh yeah, my day is now ruined. It's really sad because I was going to get the clock too. It has alarms with Mario music. It's not like I can just do that on my phone. It needs to come from my 3DS. Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars. What kind of name is that? It's a Mario vs. Donkey Kong game, I guess. Boring. Although the game itself might not be anything special, the way it was released is incredibly interesting. In North America, it was only released digitally. However, in Europe, there was a physical version, except it wasn't really physical. It was just the game box with a download code inside of it. But in Japan, it had a regular release. You'd buy the game physically and it'd come with a game card. The plot thickens, however. Not only was it released on the 3DS, it was also released on the Wii U. And if you bought the 3DS version, you'd also get the download code for the Wii U version, and vice versa. This release strategy is very odd for Nintendo. As far as I'm aware, they never did it before and haven't done anything like it since. This is coming from the company that locked your purchases to whatever console you bought them on until recently. It was basically 2 games for the price of 1, except those 2 games were both Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars. So what have we learned? Digital is fine sometimes, I guess. It'd be incredibly weird if they took up valuable shelf space at Walmart with a physical copy of Mario Clock. Mario tech demos are super interesting in my opinion. Now what is a tech demo, you might be asking? Well, it's a demo for tech, obviously. Okay, but seriously, a tech demo is something developers put together to showcase how powerful their console is, or any weird gimmicks it might have. This isn't to be confused with a game beta. A game beta is just a game while it's still in development. Let me know if you'd want an entire video about those at some point in the future. Back to tech demos. For the most part, tech demos don't actually become full games. If anything, an aspect of the demo will get incorporated into a completely different game in the future. Sometimes demos do turn into full-blown games. The best example I can think of is a little-known game called Wii Sports. Ever heard of it? Wii Sports perfectly demonstrated the Wii's motion controls, and their ability to make you look like more of a dork while playing video games than you already do. Best of all, it came free with most of the Wii's sold, unless you got a Wii Mini. Why did you get a Wii Mini? So let's start actually talking about Mario tech demos now. Starting with probably the most well-known one, NDDEMO. Short for Nintendo Developer Demo. Real creative there, Nintendo. Where'd you come up with that one? Or we could just talk about Super Mario 128 instead. Just judging by the name, you'd think it's a direct follow-up to Super Mario 64. But judging by the gameplay? What is this? Mario 128 is basically just a bunch of Marios running around on a disc platform thing, with occasional Mario on Mario violence for some reason. The platform would sometimes turn into a pizza, whatever this is. And although I can't find any pictures or videos of it, the platform would allegedly become a sphere, and the Marios would walk around it like a planet. I wonder where that concept went. And the idea of having a bunch of different characters on screen at once eventually became the Pikmin series. While on the topic of GameCube tech demos, you want to look at one that actually released? That's right. Luigi's Mansion was originally revealed as a tech demo for the GameCube back at Space World 2000. In case you don't know what Space World was, it was basically just a mini E3 for only Nintendo stuff. It no longer exists, basically being replaced by E3, which was then replaced by Nintendo Directs. Anyway, back to Luigi's Mansion. I'm only going to talk about the game as a tech demo and not about any of the beta stuff or anything. Although if you would like to learn more about the Luigi's Mansion beta, there's plenty of videos about it on YouTube. I'd recommend this one. I'll leave a link in the description. But if you'd like a video similar to this one, but for Mario game betas, just let me know in the comments and I'll probably do it in the future. So how does Luigi's Mansion act as a tech demo? One word: dust. The dust is so advanced, it took one guy 6 months to develop it. Imagine spending 6 months developing dead skin cells. The game is also a good demo for the controller. It's one of the primary reasons the controller even has a second stick, which is way too small. I need a magnifying glass to see this thing. It uses the GameCube's analog triggers to determine how strong the poltergust is too. In fact, the game basically uses every button on the controller to some extent, except for the D-pad. Good, because I was already using my magnifying glass to see the C-stick. So is Luigi's Mansion a good demonstration for the GameCube's hardware? I'd say so. The GameCube doesn't really have any weird gimmicks to show off like a lot of other Nintendo consoles, so the only thing it has to demonstrate is that realistic dust. One last GameCube one. Mario Kart for GameCube. That's it. Just Smash Bros. Melee models and go-karts. Nice. There's only one Game Boy Advance demo I want to talk about, mostly due to the mystery surrounding it. And that's the Purple Yoshi demo posted by IGN back in August 2000. Because this is all we have of it. A single screenshot. It looks like a third-person shooter, maybe? Just judging by the reticle in the top right corner. Anyway, a lot of people, myself included, think that this is fake. Why? First of all, because this is the only thing we have of it, and second of all, it looks too advanced for a Game Boy Advance game, ironically, but let me know what you think. Let's talk about the Wii U next. New Super Mario Bros. Mii was basically just New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but in HD with new levels. I wonder what that became. So it was basically just an early version of New Super Mario Bros. U used to demonstrate that the Wii U can display games in HD. It also demonstrated how you can play Wii U games off the TV. I've just gotta get a Wii U now, and as the name suggests, you could play as a Mii, and you'd get a different outfit depending on what player you were. Player 1 gets Mario, 2 Luigi, 3 Wario, 4 Blue. Not Waluigi like the obvious choice. Generic Blue. What was Nintendo thinking? It was the Wii U era, never mind, nothing they did back then made any sense.